Shalom, when the start of source by giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem God Kodash, the belongs Apostle, great and most and honest you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning that, and Sham meaning names Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, this one's inspired from this video that Mark Zuckerberg released yesterday, I think it was, and then also some other technologies and stuff like that. But basically, in this he kind of lets it slip, something. So I'll play. I'm just gonna jump straight to the point because I don't really care about the rest of this. But let's have a play.
All right, guys. So I finally, but I was backtracking.
So it's around here. If you just have a listen, right?
Really nice. We actually had those sensors back in Quest Pro. We took them out for Quest 3, and we're going to bring them back in the future. It's a nice interface. It's not perfect for everything, though. For typing or complex tasks, you're going to want things like hands or a keyboard or controllers or eventually a neural interface for those kind of inputs.
Ooh. Right, and that's it. Just snuck it in there, real sneaky. Well, that's all what it means to snuck, right? But yeah, a neural interface, right, which is what we read about in the precepts, right? A device that we shouldn't take. Esau will, advertise these things as beneficial. He will advertise these things as a improvement on life. Okay, but this is part of the deception, because when we read the scriptures, Revelation 14 and 9, it is clear what will happen to individuals that take that thing. Okay, people, once again, and this is why we have to warn the people, because people think that these are just devices, that this is just technology, right? It ain't just technology. Just like the juicy juice wasn't just juice, right? It had an agenda attached to it. So all of these people that are gonna end up getting taken by this, then it's on them, right? Their judgment is written, like, quite literally, right? Because it's written in the scriptures, and they can't say they didn't know, because people have from the apostles on down, right? And even people in the world would tell you that's the MOTB, right? So then the next thing on that was another a company, right, called Synchron, right? So everyone knows about the Neuralink, right? But Neuralink is just one of the players in this field, right? You have several players in this field that are basically all working to the same agenda. Okay, so this one is from Synchron, right? And the Mars one is the most invasive of the ones that I've seen. But the technology, hey, what does the scripture say? Let's grab that, right? Whoops. Right, and then also get so it's Daniel 12 and 4. It says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." So knowledge has been increased. Just because we understand that the at least would have had these things ready from a long time ago. But just remember, when I was but a young man, like, phones didn't even have screens on them, and I'm not even that. I'm not even. You could still say I'm a young man, right? When I was like, what, 8, 9, 10 years old, phones were just getting screens. I'm 28, and I've got a phone that is as powerful as laptops. Okay. And now we're talking about AI, when back in the day you could hardly even go on the internet. The dial-up to all of that stuff, right? So knowledge has increased because the Most High needed it for His purpose, right? And then also I'll grab this, Ezekiel 28 and 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. So the Lord here is basically saying that he's imparted Esau with great wisdom, because Daniel was a wise prophet. He was a wise prophet, but the Lord has basically imparted Esau with great wisdom, right? And it goes on to say, actually, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Because look at what he's been able to build, and We also look at the weaponry he's been able to build, which he has used to subdue the nations. Okay, but that's topic for another day. Right, so neurotech to address the limitations of the human body. Okay, so once again, these devils think that they are the Most High. Right. In fact, let's read that in verse 2, Ezekiel 28:2. It's the Son of Man, say unto the Prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord powers. Let me just put on my brightness. Thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Okay, because he's looking around and he's saying, look, I'm the one, I know what how things should be. Okay, he doesn't, but yet he doesn't know. Right, Esau's but a man. Right? He's just the evil spawn that the Lord created, right, to have rulership over the earth for these times. In fact, real quick, this is Daniel 4:17. It says, this matters by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. And Esau's the basest of men. Okay, Esau's the basest of men. When you look at him, once the Lord opens up your eyes and you look at him, you're like, yo, this is the basis of man. And you see them. You no longer, in the world, Esau is revered. Right, when you're out and about and you let's say you hear, or rather you observe how heathens interact, the other heathens interact with Esau, right? Yeah, they may not like him, but they still show him respect, right? For instance, the Elam, these ways do that a lot, right? They'll treat him well, but when he's no longer in a shop, they'll start chatting shit about him to you, right? And it's just they're like, but if you don't like me, you're treating me like shit, period. Yet when they don't like Esau, they'll still treat him nice, okay? But that's just the curses. That's just the curses, right? But once again, yeah, this man thinks, that the Most High didn't make man in perfection, all right, but the Most High made man in perfection. Yeah, in these bodies, these bodies are sin, right, full of sin, right. But that's why the elect are going to be renewed, right. The elect are going to be renewed and are going to be sin proof in the kingdom, right. And all Israel ultimately in the kingdom is going to be sin proof, right. So it says procedure made simple. And the Spirit led me to this company a couple of years back, because you had people basically scoffing at the idea of a brain implant, because it's like, what? So everyone's just going to be having, so like he's got, yeah, but it says basically they were saying you think everyone's just going to be having open brain surgery, right? Whereas this one is saying, look, it's simple, right? And we look at kind of how they do it, right? So Synchron's BCI, which stands for Brain Computer Interface, says to restore the control of a touchscreen for patients with limited hand mobility, using only their thoughts, right? So it's a miracle. You see the device, right? I'm trying to see if there was another graphic of how it all connects, right? But yeah, it's got a little node, right? It says electrode array that senses motor signals within the blood vessels, okay? And then this is, I think, the power thing, right? And then an app or whatever, what have you, right? It's like it, right? But yeah, basically this one, it's a lot less invasive in the way that it's implemented. Okay, and we're gonna get the last one that we're gonna show in a second is even more is even less invasive, right? It's the least invasive of them all, right? This is another one from a company called BrainGate, right? And I think they were saying this is like 20. They've been working on this for 20 years, okay, or something like that. Yeah, where did I read that? I believe it was BrainGate. Oh yeah, more than 2 decades ago. Right, a team of Brown University researchers set out with an ambitious goal to provide people with paralysis revolutionary neurotech. So, for instance, we had an individual come out to the camp, and he was basically trying to say that this technology is nowhere it's not gonna happen, blah blah blah. But it's like, look, this is in the public domain, right? In the public domain, they've been looking at this for a very long time. Okay, so you can imagine what they've been doing in the in the military domain, right, where you don't see what happens, where they don't have to follow rules, where people talk about code and ethics and stuff like that. You think those guys in the military are following rules and codes of ethics, right? They ain't doing that. Right? They're just doing whatever the hell they want, right? And this one, I thought it was actually gonna, because I'd look for like any clinical trials that are currently active. And I thought it was going to give a list, but even these guys actually is in this John Hopkins University, which they were a big name during that thing there, right? They were a big name. They were the go-to, the authority, if you will, right? It basically says, yeah, they're actually looking for people. So Corticom, right? So that's another company study will involve surgery to implant an electrode grid, right? So this is more like the Neuralink version. Okay. And imagine they're gonna experiment you putting all this stuff in your head, and on you're getting $3,000 for it. 3 grand, to sign your death warrant. All right. But then of course it would be the Moabites. Okay. It would be the Moabites that basically outdo the rest of these other nations, right? So scientists build a BCI that connects via the ear canal, right? And if you've ever watched Black Mirror, when you look at, I don't know if you show a picture yet. When you look at that, I was looking at it, I was like, right, that's kind of like it reminded me of the grain that they have in Black Mirror. Yeah, it's shaped differently and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's they're getting it to that level. Okay. So it says researchers in China have invented a device that can connect people's brains to a computer via their inner ear. The Spiral E brain-computer interface, developed by a team from Tsinghua University in Beijing, uses a flexible inner material to establish a digital connection to the brain. Right, it follows recent advances in BCI technology, advances. Because even when I was looking certain of these articles, you look at the dates and the timestamps on them. Right, a lot of them basically, being quite recent, like 2023 to 2024. Right, even Synchron, their what do you call it? Their trials, basically they basically put that in for clinical trials back in 2022, with the last revision, last update being in end of 2023. Right, so once again, we see the advances that's going on. We see that we're in this period. This is unlike Neuralink's device. The latest invention does not require surgery or other microneedle-based invasive methods to install, which the scientists claim make it suitable for daily use. Right, so you're just gonna have people that are just gonna, just go in one day just for a quick. It's sort of like going for a dentist, right? You're gonna have people that are gonna go in for this, right? Even more like opticians or ear checkup, right? So this is the era. This is the era of the brain computer interface. Okay. And then this is just the same company again. Yeah. And was there anything here? I don't know. I forgot why I kept this open, even though there was a bloody paywall. These guys and their bloody paywalls, right? But all of this is, Esau and his miracles, right? His so-called miracles, because all of these things ultimately ain't got nothing in comparison to the spiritual power that the Lord is going to endow certain men in these last days, right? Once again, you see this guy here, he's got whatever that is, but all of these things when you see them, oh no, this is a different one. This is a different one. This looks like a different one. This is Neo Brain Interface. Is it a different one? I don't know. Either way, right? You basically see them. They're having to do, you gotta try, right? You gotta be. What's the word, man? Like after someone is in an accident, need to relearn how to walk. Go through that physio process. But the power of the Lord is going to endow certain men. There isn't going to be any need for that. This is Revelation 16:14. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty. Right? So yeah, these miracles, right? There's another technology called CRISPR, CRISPR, right, where basically man can just straight up do gene editing, man. In the documentary that I watched, I forget what it's called at the top of my head, right? But they basically gave sight to the blind, right? But this one is gonna, oh, you can walk again, oh, you're quadriplegic, you lost use of your legs and your arm. Oh, don't worry, hey, we got you, right? And there was also the account recently where you had an individual who wasn't able to walk, right? They basically, with this with these different technologies, was able to make him walk again. Okay, so these people, they're thinking that there is, there is a way around the Most High, right? But that's not the case. So in fact, let me start from here. This is John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. Right? And when you read the end of John, it basically says that Yahushua did so much that basically you couldn't write everything that Yahushua did. Right? So the men that the Lord endows with spiritual power, they're gonna be doing a lot in these last days. Right? They're gonna be able. The Lord's gonna allow it. Right? It says, and greater works than these shall he do, right? Because I go unto my Father, right? So the Lord basically says, look, man, you're gonna be able to do some stuff, right? And even when they were with when the apostles were with Yahushua said this, Matthew 10:8, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. Now Esau, he can't do that, right? That's why he speaks about cryogenics and stuff like that. But Esau hasn't got power to do this. This is Ecclesiastes 8:8, is it? Oops. It says there is Ecclesiastes 8:8. There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. And there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. Okay, so there's no discharge in that war. Once it's time for someone to die, they're gonna die. If someone is to survive, they'll survive, right? So the power to put the spirit back into someone is something that is ordained by the Abba Shem Shai. Okay, it says, cast out devils, freely ye have received, freely give, right? So once again, these things are going to be, we're coming back into that time, right? Acts 1:8. But ye shall receive power after the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem, right, and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth, right? Because I kind of think about this, like, how in ancient Egypt, right, on the one side you had Pharaoh's Magi's basically trying to keep up with the things that Moses was doing, but they reached a point where Pharaoh's Magi's couldn't keep up, right? And so on the left hand side in today's day, you have Esau, right? You saying, look, I'm going to make you walk again. I can make you see, right? And they have to go through, like I said, these surgeries or this rehabilitation. I think that was the word I was looking for earlier. In rehabilitation, they got to go through all of this rehabilitation, right? Yet the Lord is going to, on the right hand side, endow certain men to just be like, hey, do you believe? Person goes, yeah. And then they stand up, right? They start, and then that's it. All right, and just as quick as that, right, you're gonna have someone that's dead. You're gonna be raised up, right? Hey, look what with the account with Lazarus, right? Before he stinketh, right? Yahushua just said, like, look, man, get up, man, right? And he was good, right? So that's the power of the right hand side, and Esau's trying to emulate these things on the left hand side, right? But in that day, the Lord is gonna make it known what the true power is, right? You're gonna have people saying, "No, those are deep fakes. Those are deep fakes," right? And you're gonna have certain people that are gonna believe, right? And they're gonna come out and be like, "Yo, hey, I believe." right? And if the spirit is willing, then they'll be healed, right? If the spirit is willing for that to happen, right? And I'll finish with the last one, which is Acts 14:8. It says, and there sat a certain man at Lystra, impotent in his feet, being a cripple from his mother's womb, who never walked. Once again, Esau's talking about, get these devices put into you, and I will let you walk again, right? Because once again, Esau wants to uphold himself as a god, but he is a man. So it says, the same heard Paul speak, right, who steadfastly beholding him and perceiving that he had faith to be healed, right, because ultimately is faith, right? Yahushua constantly said that thy faith has healed you, right? And then and statements in like manner. So it said with a loud voice, stand upright on thy feet, and he leaped and walked. That was it. That was it. That was it. Right? It was said, and then it was done. Right, and that was it. And that's the power of Yahweh Hashem. That's the power of the right hand side. Right, you're gonna have people that are gonna be impatient. Right, they're gonna be like, and they're impatient and without belief. Right, and they're gonna basically go and take these devices. Right, not knowing that the Lord is getting ready. Right, ultimately we're talking about Israelites here. Not knowing that the Lord is getting ready to endow individuals with the power to just say, stand up, and then it is done. Right, so when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, right, the gods are come down to us in the likeness of men. Right. Oh man. So then they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, which was before. So once again, um, was what I was. That's just Jake for you, man. Instead of reverencing who they should have reverenced, they started going after their dodgy gods, man. Right, but that's just been this particular vid. Yeah, man, we're in the season. We're in the season of that brain computer interface. And Lord's Will, this is the year when it starts getting pushed out heavy. So as always, Lord's Will, that was edifying. Until next time, we say Shalom.